I've always had that underdog approach where I've always wanted to outmaneuver, outwork, and outthink my competition. And I think that's one of the things that's helped me get to the chair I'm in today, which is a partner at this firm and ultimately having the hunger and drive to be able to build something really unique. You have to believe in the diverse model if you want to go the distance, because it is a marathon. It's definitely not a sprint. This is something you have to work really hard at. You have to build great relationships. You have to do a lot of heavy lifting. And I did get to the point where I started to realize that I was going to be able to take this a step beyond and start doing, some of my own business development. I needed to prove people wrong. And I found myself in that place again where I had to really look inside me and dig deep to come out the other side. I could have just as easily thrown in the towel or left and gone to another firm and taken that approach. But again, I think it goes back to believing in the Daversa model and loving the people that I worked with and trusting in the model that we build on. And so from there, the career really just took off and went into a whole another category. I take a lot of pride in the team that we've built here. I think our team is just amazing. I think that you're only as good as your team, and that's a quote from Dominique Wilkins. But not only is he my favorite basketball player, but I think that quote is really meaningful to what we do as headhunters. We're only as good as our team. So I've taken that unique approach. When somebody underestimates me, I use that as a tool in which then could ultimately get myself to a place where I am successful. And if I don't, for whatever reason, have all the answers, I will find them and I will utilize the team in a way in which pulls all the pieces together in a really meaningful way. I think being an underdog is something that has always set me apart and differentiated me from the rest, and I think is a motivator for me. Being an underdog has put me in a scenario where you've gone from being the underdog to now being one of the leaders of the pack, and I think there's something to be said about that approach, right? That sets really well with executives, specifically maybe on the revenue side, where they can relate to me because we're in a performance-driven category, being sales. So I think when it relates to performance, you're only as good as your team in that case. But the only way to really prove that out is to consistently hit your number and over-deliver, approaching things in a very sincere, genuine, passionate way has resonated really well with my client base. And I think it's simply said, people trust me. I personally believe that I am one of the best headhunters on the sales front. I think that I've built an unbelievable network. I think the team that we've built here has really allowed us to build something really special and unique that I think is nearly impossible to replicate in other firms. So whether I am the number one headhunting, partner for sales, I don't know. But I would say that I am one of the people that does lead the industry from a sales perspective and a revenue go-to-market perspective. I think it goes back to the trust piece, which is they trust me. One, they meet with me. They understand that I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that we're successful together. So de-risking any scenario for things not going into the end zone. I think the other piece is passion. I just met with a founder last week that he flat out told me that was the reason why I won the search, was because I got him really excited in the first video conversation to the point where he came in with very low expectations and coming out of it was almost ready to sign. So I knew going out and getting in front of him and bringing that passion from a video call to an in-person meeting would close that deal, and sure enough, it ended up on a handshake and a new account for the firm. I think combination of resilience, passion, tenacity are some of the fundamental things that differentiate me. The passion factor that I bring to each and every search and each and every client, like, you're only as good as your last search. And so making sure that you're consistently successful on every single search that you do. If you do that, you'll never have to do business development. I think lead by example for me is like doing the work, right? Stuff that's really hard that typically people may not want to do, right? We'll call it what it is. What we do is difficult. I still make cold calls. I think that differentiates me in a really meaningful way. I think people sometimes at my level maybe aren't as low to the ground, but it's just, I love to do what I do. I just couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. I think that this business was purpose built for me, and I'm super excited about the team and what we're building here. But at the end of the day, like, I think that the reason why I intend to win in a lot of scenarios is because of my tenacity as well as my ability to lead from the front and get my hands dirty. If you can do that, then I think you can do just about anything, right? Be able to have a conversation, build a relationship with someone, get them to like you and then trust you. That's what we do. We build great relationships with great people that will maybe go on for decades. And that's how I think about the business. I'm playing in the long-term game, right? Not the short term. I want to make sure that these are clients that I'm going to be working with for decades. I find that if you're running with the great people, it's like the fruit fly effect, right? Like the great people run together. I want to be in that group. But I think that looking back and going through some of the downturn in 2008 to some of the challenges that we face today, just knowing that no matter what, if I want to be successful, I will be successful, because you just can't stop someone that believes in themselves. I'm one of those people that still believe that you can do whatever you put your mind to. And that may sound cliche, but that's just who I am.